through to A Soul in the Multiverse, and today it is the 8th of August 2023, and today is a very special day. It is the peak of the Lion's Gate, and it is the 8-8 portal. So I have been guided by my guides to double check this morning, as normally I would just do a joint collective reading. However, I just wasn't able to get the time yesterday to do this. So I don't know if it's because they wanted there to be a little bit of a gap. But it just was impossible for me to get this done yesterday. But my guides have been guiding me to do a separate reading. As we know, I usually do it as a joint collective. But obviously we will have to double check first. So I'm going to use my body testing. Am I able to do a soul, divine, feminine clearing today? Yes, I have a positive lock. Am I allowed to do a divine masculine clearing today? Yes, that doesn't normally happen. So I feel because it's the 8-8 portal, 8, the sign of infinity, the sign of twin flames, maybe I am allowed to have this extra healing. So which one shall we look at first? So let's go for the divine. Shall I do the divine feminine first? No. Should I do the divine masculine first? Yes. So let us have a look at the divine masculine. Does the divine masculine, let me see if I can. Okay, so I was going to see if I could channel any messages. There were no messages coming through, but I felt a massive pull across my heart chakra, almost like as I breathed in, it got tighter. So there could be some anxiety around, or maybe there is some heart chakra activations that are currently going on. So that was an interesting pull. That's generally how I feel emotions. It's been quite interesting on all of the personal one-on-one or over the phone healings I've completed with people with the emotion code. I'm able to tell them where they're feeling the feels in their body, and I'm actually 9.9 times out of 10 completely spot on. The only time was the one lady who didn't actually feel anything within her body. So there is always that possibility, just to cover it for everybody. So let us have a look then at the divine masculine healing for this Lion Gates portal in 2023. Does the divine masculine have any blockages in A1? Yes. Does the divine masculine have any blockages in relation to abandonment? No. Betrayal? No. Forlorn? No. Lost? Yes. Love unreceived. So we have our first one, which is lost. I am going to mark this down because on a bit of paper, as I would tell you to do on your own, because normally there's only one or two which I can quite easily remember, but as it's going to be a separate one. So for the divine masculine feminine just for the divine masculine collective, do they have any blockages in A2? No. A3? No. A4? No. A5? No. A6? Yes. Humiliation? No. Jealousy? No. Longing? Yes. Lust? No. Overwhelm? That's longing and overwhelm and lost. So if we have a little look, lost was within the heart or the small intestine. Maybe that was that feeling, that anxiety I felt that went across my heart right at the beginning of this reading. Okay then, so for the divine masculine collective, do they have any blockages in B1? Yes. Effort unreceived? No. Heartache? No. Insecurity? No. Overjoy? No. Vulnerability? Yes. When you feel vulnerable, maybe that's what we want them to feel. But let's unblock their blockages within vulnerability so that they feel that they're able to come forward, mainly for themselves. Always remember this is This journey is you as two souls. You know, the love shouldn't be a possessive one. The love should be a, if you need to go and do more journeying, I wish you well. I wish you well. I'll leave the light on within the cathedral, within my heart, to guide you home when you're ready. So, where was I? For the divine masculine and feminine, for the divine masculine collective, so many blockages in B2, no, B3, no, B4, no, B5, no, B6, yes, pride, no, shame, yes, shock, no, unworthy, no, worthlessness, no. Interesting, that's two boxes there, and the other one is your glands and your sexual organs. Maybe people have been feeling a little bit more frisky or less risky, in fact. I don't know why the word frisky came through. It's not a word I would tend to use. So let us go and release these emotions. So I'm going to do something slightly different today. I'm actually going to go across and do do box A1 and B1 together and actually work on the heart chakra, or it also says small intestine. So there may be people that are having issues related to their stomach, and that could even be relating to your solar plexus. From a lot of the collective readings and readings I have been watching myself, there seems to be a lot of activity within the solar plexus, which is the way to find joy, and we all need to find our own joy before we join with somebody else so that we can build more joy up, add energy as opposed to take it away from someone to build yourself up. So we are going to look at the feeling of lost. Seeing as it's the divine masculine, I can imagine, seeing as this isn't true, and obviously switch to whichever resonates. All of us have divine masculine and divine feminine within us. Generally, the divine feminine I'm talking about would be a female, but I am aware that obviously it's interchangeable, and obviously take whatever resonates with you and take it in whichever way would resonate best for your journey. You understand your journey more than anybody else would be able to understand your journey, and to be honest with you, trying to pop it into words just doesn't really do it justice. So I understand that Divine Feminine Collective have a much more spiritual basis and spiritual access. It's not saying that the Divine Masculine don't, but they tend to work within logic and within the 3D world more, and the monetary system, and ensuring stability. And once they're stable in that area, then they tend to kind of broach out, is from what I can see from my understanding, which is why you sometimes come together, you activate each other, and you have these periods of time apart whilst you've been triggered. And you know, there must be many feelings, and I know I felt lost along this. I felt so clear at one point exactly what my journey was going to be, for me to be completely thrown off and chucked onto different paths. And you know, the path that I know I should be on doesn't seem to be available to me, and I felt lost, and the synchronicities went. But this is where the time for your faith to come in and to go inwards and to really work on that self. I'm still working on self. It seems to be a forever job, to be quite honest with you, but I know the last few things are big ones, but also will be the last few things to go. So for the Divine Masculine Collective, let's make you feel a little better and release any blockages in relation to got the wrong one then, sorry. In relation to the Divine Masculine, let us unblock any issues in relation to feeling lost. Let's double check, does the Divine Masculine have any issues in relation to feeling lost? No. Brilliant. Okay then, so the other one over in B1 was vulnerability. So when you feel lost, I'm guessing lots of feelings of vulnerability have come out. But if you are having a blockage in vulnerability, maybe this blockage is not allowing you to be vulnerable to those that you need to be, whether that's your divine counterpart, your family members, your friends, your loved ones, but most importantly, yourself. So let us help the Divine Masculine Collective by releasing any blockages in relation to vulnerability. Let us do a double check. Does the Divine Masculine Collective have any blockages in relation to vulnerability? No. I hope there's someone somewhere, or at least a collective of you, that are feeling a release. It is around 10 to 12 in the morning, coming up to midday UK time on the 8th of August. So if anyone has felt a relief or kind of a blockage being released or purged around the heart or small intestine, that's the time that it was done. Now we're going to move into A6 and B6, which were the other ones that had some blockages within, which covers your glands and your sexual organs. As you may hear, I am still full of cold. This cold has seemed to linger. I do feel like my throat has maybe swelled up a little bit this morning. Not sure if it's my glands or not, but maybe there is a collective blockage, maybe within the throat chakra, and maybe the glands are causing some issues, or for you to maybe pay attention to that area, or maybe there's areas being brought to different, or attention being brought to different areas like your sexual organs. So maybe you are feeling lustful or longing towards other people. So in fact, the first blockage we had was longing. So in relation to the longing blockage, maybe you're longing for that life that you can kind of just see, but it's just within your grasp. Maybe you're longing for a discussion with your counterpart, or maybe you're longing for space. It's whatever you are longing for. Maybe you're not allowing yourself to go forward for this longing because there is a blockage there. So let us help you release that blockage. So for the Divine Masculine Collective, I would like to release any blockage in relation to longing. I felt a little bit of a pull from the Divine Feminine Collective saying, no, don't release their blockage in longing, because I want them to long for me. But the thing is, if there is a blockage there, you want that blockage to be removed so that they can properly step forward into their longing and understand it, instead of blocking it and blocking themselves. So so the next one in A6 is overwhelm. Obviously this journey is overwhelming. The journey of life is overwhelming, but to have this sort of intensity of feelings, I know that it is felt differently on the Divine Masculine Collective, but deep within you must have known somewhere that you're searching for something and you never quite found it, and there's quite a possibility that you'd given up that search, and suddenly, quite a long time in, there's this memory. But unfortunately, it's, as much as we wanted it to be a smooth running soulmate romantic connection, it is not that. Any mask or persona that we have rightfully at times put on ourselves to get ourselves through the social matrix and to protect ourselves, protect our inner selves, our soul. I've lost my little track of thought there, but when you've got those masks on, it's quite an overwhelming thing to start removing these masks and be who you are in a world where you've been someone else. And also this journey is just wholly overwhelming, and I thought I was particularly strong and I had all the tools, but it has overwhelmed me at times. Obviously, I know that I have stepped out of my masculine energy from the last karmic relationship I was in, mainly because I had to do both roles, and I have stepped much more into my feminine being, which has just really helped me. So I do understand it's overwhelming, and it must be overwhelming for them, for the Divine Masculine Collective as well. So let us release that blockage for you in relation to overwhelm. So the last one is shame. Shame that maybe you did some choices that you're not sure others would approve of, but I think we must always remember that if you would do things differently now compared to what you may feel shame about, then you've learnt something. You would do it differently. If that occurrence happened again, then you would change. So there is no shame in that if you have learnt. If it's in the way to the relationship that you've had with yourself, others, family, or even your counterparts, it's all a process, it's all a journey. This is the one thing I battle with. You know, it was a soul contract that we agreed to meet each other at this point, or whatever point that you agreed to meet each other, but we all do still have free will as well in the equation. So shame is a low down vibrational energy, so let us release that for the Divine Masculine Collective. Let's double check, does the Divine Masculine Collective have any blockage in relation to shame? I'm not sure if I checked with overwhelm. Do they have any blockages in relation to overwhelm? Is the Divine Masculine clear for today? I've got a positive lock. So thank you very much if you end up listening. I hope that someone out there found some relief, and I'm quite excited and very honoured to have been allowed to do a separate healing for both the Divine Masculine and the Divine Feminine Collective, as this has not really been allowed for me before. So I'm feeling the special energies of the day, and I hope that it's full of magic and everyone just either gets one step closer or steps into union, or steps one step closer to exactly where they need to be. So I wish you all the best, and I hope that everything gets better and better in your world. Actually, no, first, let us go on to the Divine Feminine reading. Then let us get on with the Divine Feminine Collective healing. You will probably have noticed in my last video, or the video section about the Divine Masculine, I kept tripping up my words because I have for the past month or so been doing the Divine Masculine and Feminine Collective together. Whereas at one point I was only ever allowed to do the Divine Feminine. So, I mean, it was only March, April that I started this journey. So it's very interesting to be back at this point and to be allowed to do it, and it feels really nice. But when I was in between changing videos, just give myself a little moment of break, I felt a heaviness around the back of my head, and I really feel like it is a sign that maybe a lot of the feminines have been within their head, and hopefully meaning that they have been purging whatever they need to purge. Talking about purging and releasing, I think I have mentioned it in one of the videos. If not, it's maybe because I've been chattering among my friends and peers about this. But I came across a scientific piece about reading, about crying, and how the average crying session takes 18 minutes. Now, I know that I'd gone through quite an emotional period over those 4 days where I hadn't done any of the emotional clearings, on top of the blue moon energies, on top of all the retrograde energies. I'll hold your hats, a couple more weeks, and there's 7, I think, all in retrograde at the same time. But I really sat and got to thinking about this crying, and I personally don't really allow myself to cry for more than a couple of minutes. I sup it up, you know, crack on, get on with it, buttercup, and try and be strong for everybody else around me. So I had been particularly teary over those 4 days. So I did allow myself, and I purposely allowed myself. It was one of the things that I did. Once I put my little one down and the house was empty, I sat and I just cried. I set an alarm for 20 minutes. I wanted to go just over in case I had any moments of, oh my God. And I did. I think I got to about 12, 15 minutes and I was like, oh, I haven't got anything left to cry about. But I found, oh, don't worry, I found something. And I haven't since. It's been rather, it was very cleansing. So, Divine Feminines, if you're feeling a little bit teary at the moment, I really suggest that you pop yourself into a safe place, a place where you will not be disturbed, a place where you're comfortable, and just allow yourself 20 minutes. If you obviously have been watching these videos, you might want to go and watch the emotion code and see how you can release them all at the end. Take a note of the emotions that come up. Do they need releasing at the end? So let us go through. Does the Divine Feminine have any blockages in relation to A1? Yes. Abandonment. I thought that one might come up. It's been one of my biggest wounds to date, and it has been the trigger for me over the past few weeks or months. But I have learnt through the twin mirror flame, the mirror flame healing tool, that I am more upset that I have abandoned myself. So I have gone straight back onto my path and I'm working on the inner peace, the letting go, and pulling all my energy back to me as opposed to pushing it out. So let us continue. Does the Divine Feminine have any blockages in relation to A2? No. Oh no, did we do all of them? Does the Divine Feminine have any blockages in relation to Abandon? Yes. Betrayal? No. Forlorn? No. Loss? No. Love and receive? No. A2? No. A3? No. A4? No. A5? No. A6? No. Does the Divine Feminine Collective have any blockages in relation to B1? No. B2? Yes. Failure? Helplessness? Yes. Hopelessness? No. Lack of control? No. Low, I'm trying that one again. Low self-esteem? No. So that was helplessness. Okay then, let us move on to, does the Divine Feminine have any blockages in relation to A3? No. A4? No. A5? No. A6? Yes. Pride? No. Shame? No. Shock? No. Unworthy? No. Worthlessness? Okay. It's interesting. I do feel like the feminines have potentially been tending to their gardens recently, so there were a few less blockages as compared to the masculine collective. But I know I did do quite a deep dive with the Divine Feminine Collective during March, April and part of May. So let us release these, shall we? Abandonment, completely get it. But as I mentioned when we discovered that, let us bring that abandonment wound back to yourself and stop abandoning yourself. Okay, that's the best healing advice. Sounds really simple. I do get it, and I do understand that. Whilst I completely understand every single word that I say, others may not. And equally, there may be people out there that say things that I don't understand. But hopefully that does resonate with somebody. So for the Divine Feminine Collective, I would like to release any issues in relation to abandonment. Let me always do the double checker. Does the Divine Feminine Collective have any blockages in relation to abandonment? No. Okay then. And then the next one, oh my word, I can't read my, it was helplessness. So I couldn't read my handwriting then. This journey does make you feel helpless. You might get to a point where you feel like you've done all the healing that you need and why isn't things not happened, and then suddenly something else comes up and there's distractions that come along, but there's a lesson in everything. I think we just all need to remember that we are the star of our own movie, and it's time to start either acting like the lead actor or, really start paying attention to those that are coming through and what acts and what things they are trying to teach you. And, you know, let us, for the Divine Feminine Collective, release any blockages in relation to helplessness, which I suppose does feed into the last and final blockage, which is worthlessness. You know, no one is worthless. We all have our own worth. We all have our own perfect match. We all have our, you know, we all have beauty and light within us. And we should never, ever, ever forget that. So if for any Divine Feminine or the whole of the Divine Feminine Collective, if you are holding a blockage in relation to worthlessness, I've released that for you now. And I will double check, does the Divine Feminine Collective have any blockages in relation to worthlessness? No. Brilliant. Well, that was a pretty wonderful Lion Gate experience for me to be able to do both of the collectives separately. It was also really interesting to see the differences between the two of them. You know, they didn't have the same overlapping emotions. So, you know, if there is a divine masculine out there who's awakened, who has tried the emotion code, please try and see if you are able to do this, if your guides will allow you to do it. And if you do, reach out to me, let me know. I'll go back to just doing the Divine Feminine readings, clearings. So, but thank you again, everybody. Thank you if you've taken the time to listen to this. Thank you if any of this has resonated with you. And I hope that everything keeps improving in your world in each and every way. Thank you.